when you're just getting started in web development, you might just focus on just HTML, CSS, and maybe little bit of JavaScript to build initial website. That's absolutely fine because HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is just building block of whatever the website you are seeing online. No matter what kind of backend technologies or what kind of framework they might be using, in the end, whatever the user sees, it's just made up of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and of course some images and all. So when you are having fun and build amazing project using these technologies, that time building small project is amazing in it. So you might code some kind of a static website, or maybe add some kind of features like multiple pages, and you might try to submit forms using Netlify forms, or even build business website which might take appointment with some kind of integration, and all these things are amazing. You will be able to do it using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But what happens when you are trying to build one very large project? Let's say that one big social network for some company, or you might be building some kind of e-commerce website for one company. That time what happens? You might have fun when you're building it using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but just understand this, that when pages increases and when there are so many reactive element on one website, that time if you just use JavaScript and HTML and CSS for that matter, your project is going to get really messed up, and in order to add some kind of new feature, you might have to go ahead and edit maybe 4, 5, 10 files maybe. So this is very bad thing when you are like building one large project. So that time this front-end frameworks comes into picture. So what are these front-end framework? They are nothing but they run JavaScript in order to build website. So one website loads, it's usually made up of HTML, but this front-end framework just loads up initial HTML. After that, whatever the pages or whatever the text, CSS, or any kind of content, it will be loaded using JavaScript. So JavaScript is one programming language. That's why coding something using JavaScript gives you lots of flexibility to add new feature to it and use all those object oriented functional component and class component and all the amazing things which you will get using one particular programming language. So when that happens, you will be able to consider that particular one web development project which in the end runs HTML, CSS using JavaScript. You make sure that all the things are organized properly, and you will be able to add new features just by adding one new function or creating one new file instead of going and editing hundreds of files. This is really good when you are building big project. So it's also beneficial so that you'll be able to avoid repeating code which you might do if you are just using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So there are many front-end frameworks available nowadays, but popular ones are always React, Vue.js, and Angular. These three frameworks are being used by lots of companies, startups, or even small businesses. Many people use these three frameworks, and there are lots of newer framework which help you to do lots of amazing things which these three are not yet doing. Maybe something like Svelte, Astro, and lots of other frameworks are also available. You can search about it. But whatever the framework which I said, React, Vue.js, and Angular, these are highly popular framework. React is one of those framework which is created by Facebook, and Angular was initially created by Google. Then Vue.js is independent project which is created by some community members. So because of that, all these framework have its own use. Maybe someone who is more inclined towards Facebook might use React, and it has its own features and all the principles and all. Maybe someone who is like, I don't want to be part of big companies, I just want to be with community, those people might use Vue.js, and Angular might be used by lots of big corporates and all those things. There is no such thing that one framework cannot be used with whatever the cases which I mentioned a while back. But it's just that this framework will be used by different people based on their own requirement, or maybe some people just started using it before due to some reason and they are still continuing it doing, even though they might have some better options. So anyways, learning one of these three framework will make sure that you are ready for modern web development. So now you might ask, which of these three framework I should pick? The answer to it is you can pick anyone, and once you are comfortable with it, you can learn other Angular 2 also if you want, or for that matter any other framework also. Reason is these frameworks are created using JavaScript. So because of that, if you know JavaScript, you will be able to get comfortable with any of these frameworks. So learn one thing and you will be able to master other things if there is some job requirement or something like that. But I would highly recommend you to start with Vue.js because it's easier to learn and you will be able to do lots of complex things very easily, whereas Angular and React might be little bit tough to learn when you are just a beginner. But it's absolutely fine if you found some kind of best resource to learn React or Angular. Go ahead, learn it. It is going to help you get good job and you will be able to apply for it in no time once you are comfortable to build something using that particular framework. But if you want to learn Vue.js, I have made tutorial here. Just go ahead and watch it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.